One of the things that most traders don't know about gold is that it is a counter trend market. As you can see here, I have a breakout strategy and I've developed this based on breakouts. I really prefer to trade breakout. It goes against my nature to trade counter trend. And I didn't develop this strategy at first. A lot of times when I develop a trading system, I do it with a discretionary approach. And everybody knows that gold is a trend strategy, and that's what I thought, and that's how I try to develop a strategy. I started with discretionary approaches and then moved those into systematic approaches. And gold is very hard to trade on a trend basis, breakout basis, on a day trade basis. And as you can see here, if you were to trade a strategy like this, um, going back to 2009, minus $137,700. This is in NinjaTrader, and I did a poll and asked traders, small poll sample, and about 2/3 of traders believe that gold is a trend slash breakout market on a day trade basis, and it is not. And I've proven that by taking a look at this strategy, and you can see the terrible results. And then what happens when I develop a basic counter trend strategy. And I'm going to show you that next. Here we take a look at a strategy that does the opposite. It fades breakouts and fades new highs and new lows, and you see the approach is much better. It's not a strategy that it trades too frequently, and the average trade profit is pretty low. And so we further developed this strategy in some of our trading systems, and we're going to talk about that next with a specific strategy called Asia Gold. And this strategy shows you how you can be more profitable stepping in front of gold on a day trade basis, and instead of taking the breakout. So it's trading is a learning process. A lot of times we start one method, then we systemize it, and then we realize that maybe our approach was wrong. But this basic fader strategy shows you that it's much more profitable to try to try to fade gold instead of trying to trade with the trend. And so next, I'm going to show you a strategy. And then most traders make this mistake. And so I'm going to show you a strategy I've found called Asia Gold, proprietary trading system that will allow you to fade the trend and take trades that are counter trend, and how well that has worked. We have the latest version for Asia Gold out in NinjaTrader. This strategy can take multiple trades per day. You see, one of the best days was on November the 16th. We got long, we got short, we got long. And then we got out at this time. You could get out at the midnight hour at the beginning of the stock market at 9:30 Eastern, or at 3 o'clock Eastern. Those are three of the recommended exit times. And I want to scroll through and take a look at all the trades because we have winning and losing trades in this strategy. About 54% accurate in the short term. We have a losing trade there. You see that we got stopped out. Has a $900 stop loss and a $1,400 profit target. There's a winning trade to hit its profit target. And we had a webinar about a week or so ago with NinjaTrader. I have the link for that below, and you can see what we talked about. We talked about most traders find gold to be a trendy market, and on a day trade basis, it's more of a counter trend market. And we proved that with a simple characterization strategy, and we showed how we have three strategies: gold spike, Asia Gold, this strategy, and SR counter trend gold that work on a counter trend basis. And I'm just scrolling through so you can see all the trades, the winning and losing in. And so it's interesting. I've tried to make money on the trend side of gold on a breakout method. When I develop systems, a lot of times I start with a discretionary approach. I try scalping or just setting up discretionary trades until I can figure out the best way to trade that market. And so it can be expensive when you do it a hands-on approach like that instead of just writing code and optimizing, and lost a lot of money trying to trade the trend side of gold. So on a day trade basis, very short term basis, gold is very counter trend, and so you can see the advantage we have in the gold market here trading this strategy. This is past, going back to the beginning of electronic data when gold starts trading. Gold starts trading during the day session in December 2006, but the data until is a bit choppy. There's some choppy data in there, and so we like to start on March 2008 when the data has more volume the way it currently has today. 92.54 average trade profit. This does not include slippage and commission. Here is the graph. Since about this point, it's about $165 average trade profit since about June of 2012. And so as gold matures and gets more volume, when I say mature, when a market starts trading electronically or there's an IPO, it can be a bit choppy and less volume. And then the longer that market trades, the more stable it becomes. And so it becomes a more mature market, and you have some counter trend opportunities in a sweet spot in there. Um, and and then if it gets real liquid, then it can be harder to trade. But gold's at a sweet spot and has been for a while, and I anticipate it to continue to be in the short term and in the intermediate term to trade this strategy on a counter trend basis. And so I've worked really hard to find simple strategies, and this is a very simple approach. It's a very simple counter trend approach, and it works in NinjaTrader, it works in TradeStation. And I have a special offer for that. You can get the monthly lease, which is just a basic $50 per month for up to 2 contracts. You get the annual lease for $450 for up to 2 contracts. Or you can get the open code and have the open code at a low price. Open code strategies start at a low price and then they increase over time. It's a newer strategy. It's been around since April of this year. And we'll take a look at the results. Let's take a look on an annual basis here. Expand this out. Look at a currency basis. And you can see since 2008 what it's done. One losing year in 2009. Here the other. 2013 was big. This year is pretty good. Um, and you see that average trade profit this year is 88. Average trade profit in the last 2 years were really high, 134 and 186. And so let's look at it on a monthly basis since it was created. This strategy was created in April of this year. And so going forward in May, nice month, and then 3 losing months in a row. And then we've had 4 winning months in a row, including this month, and this month's not over yet. So again, trading systems are a long-term approach, and we have this in. And I want to compare the results for Tradestation and NinjaTrader, so I'm going to show you that here in a minute. But again, I work very hard to find simple strategies that work, and this is a basic approach. And so um, in TradeStation, it's not many lines of code. In NinjaTrader, it's a lot of lines of code. We use the managed approach in programming, and so there's a lot to think about. We cancel and replace limit orders to the market. The reason we do that, let me see if I can find the trade that called the low of the day recently. Where was that? You get some of these strategies, they get in at the very low of the day, and I'd rather cancel and replace it to the market instead of holding the limit at a fixed point. See this one right here? The best trades don't don't spend much time at your entry point, and so you can get a trade like this. You know, I don't want to be stubborn and sit here and say, I'm not going to give up a tick or two of slippage to get this fill. And so it's the best trades run away from your limit orders. And so I want to cancel and replace those limit orders to the market after a few seconds, and the code's in there included for that. And the code's included to have a stop loss and a profit target and a trailing stop loss and a break even if you want. We use just basic stop loss of 900, profit target of 1400, and you can take multiple trades during the day. So you have to use the managed account approach when you use a stop loss and have a reversal. If you have a strategy that can reverse and it has a stop loss and profit target, you have to use the managed approach, and the code shows you how to do it. So it's several hundred lines of code in Ninja to manage that, even though it's a basic strategy. So you can learn that if you get the code, and you see the low there, and then the target. And again, I like to cancel and replace my limits to the market for this very reason. I'm not going to sit here and be stubborn and not pay slippage and then miss the big trades. If you hold all your limit orders, you will definitely capture all the losing trades, but you might miss some winning trades. And so we don't want to miss the winners. It's important to capture the winning trades. And so we're already buying on a good dip. It's counter trend, so we buy on a dip. And so if we pay a little slippage there, that's fine with me. And we're going to take a look now in TradeStation, see the results. Very similar results in TradeStation. And you see going back The largest losing trade is 1420, even though stop loss is 900. There's some gaps in the data. Um, and the largest, the drawdown is 12,140. You want to compare these side by side with NinjaTrader. You know, when you have these platforms, they're not exact. The results are not exact between platforms and data, but it's pretty close. There's 1,434 trades in Ninja, 1,451 in TradeStation, 125,000 in TradeStation, 132,700 in Ninja, and the max drawdown is what 12,040 in Ninja, 12,140 in TradeStation, and it's 49% profitable, which is the same as TradeStation. 54% in the short term, so since mid 2012 it's about 54% profit. Average trade profit a little higher in Ninja. So between platforms, some systems work a little bit better in TradeStation, some work a little bit better in NinjaTrader, and these are the results. Let's look at the graphs. Click on that. Let me pull the. So you can compare those side by side, and you can see there's no slippage in commission in this, and so you still have to counter that in. But the average trade profit is high, and again, it's about 160 bucks since 2012, and so there's plenty of room for slippage and commission. It's a nice addition to the portfolios, or if you just want to trade gold, more gold, then you have that opportunity as well. So that's the update. Let me know if you have any questions. You can get into the links it at the bottom of this page. See the webinar recording at the bottom of this page that was hosted by NinjaTrader, and same thing applies to other platforms. You can learn about gold and how it trades at a counter trend basis. And again, the special offer on the open code will last for to the end of the year, maybe a little longer. But then I increase the prices usually over time. Start out on a new system with the low open code price, and again, it's a very, very, very simple strategy. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll be glad to answer those, and that is Asia Gold.